Greetings, gamers! Welcome back to another wonderful episode of Red Steel Gaming Presents. Today on the show, we're going to do a couple more news items that we didn't drop last time, especially because they just kind of popped up on our radar.
Yeah, little bleeps on the blurps.
Little bleeps and the blurps. So for those who don't know, I'm Dan from Red Steel Gaming. I'm the Primarch on our Discord. I got my buddy Sal here with me today.
Greetings all.
And my buddy Christopher.
Yo.
And
That's
that's a new one.
Let's get down.
That's a new one. Chris has a lot to say today.
Let's go.
As you can tell.
Let's go, yo.
Yo. So GW had a leak.
Yeah.
Did they?
And they did well, or did
leak?
they? I don't know. Some of them
Let's-
say
let's-
someone might say it's hearsay.
Yeah. We're bringing this up because this is like kind of uncharted waters for GW in the sense that they are addressing a leak, either be it by themselves have leaked this, or the internet has always leaked it, or like the products that early influencers get. Someone leaked it.
I think a pallet got messed up, and somebody grabbed a bunch of crap that was a GW player and just threw it in his trunk. And it was like, I'm just gonna
Somebody
leak this.
maybe saw it and like, you know what?
If you've seen the pictures on the hearsays, so what the Horus Hearsay
The
website.
Horus Hearsay, or the new edition of Horus Heresy, is leaked. There's images on the web, and that's kind of the. But GW in a very unusual fashion. Now, originally, before this leak, they did have a website. It's called HorusHearsay.com.
Yep.
And they even have a small, pretty well-produced video of people working in an office and, tongue-in-cheek humor about the Horus Heresy. Because people have been talking about it for a while, that it's due for a new edition.
Yeah.
We're in the 3-year cycle, in the window. So it's just funny that they've embraced it. So like the site has updated itself for the fact that the box has been spoiled, and there are very grainy images, like potato cam images, which is a term used.
So they are absolutely like flip phone, Nokia level photographs.
Yeah.
Now, they did this for Horus Heresy, which is like, no offense to Horus Heresy players, but it's not their top 2 game, right? It's
Correct.
not. It's not AOS. It's not 40K.
It's the number one small studio game, if you want to look at it that way.
Do they do this Horus Hearsay or some tongue-in-cheek website if it was a 40K leak or if it was an AOS leak?
Well, in the past, they've embraced leaks comically.
I think
remember there was that little video they made, like the guy threw something out in the garbage, and somebody came in and they took it, and they were like, "Oh, now we got to lock up our garbage."
Yes. And we have James Workshop. They've been very tongue-in-cheek with having James Workshop show up for certain items that have been leaked on the internet, and they've also, like, once it's leaked, they've also released it onto the internet right away. So it's like they're willing to be like, "Oh, you've seen it? Here you go. Here's the full release we had queued up." So it's already produced and done their articles on Warcom sometimes. So it makes you think, it's hard to say. Like it's they've done it for certain things. This is a big release too for a new product that's probably going to be a sales spike. So, but they have so much else to release. It's hard to say if this is like, does it hurt them?
If it's planned, it's genius. We'll just put it that way.
Well, the website
because it's fun. It's silly. They're kind of poking fun at us. As when I say us, I mean like gamers. They're like, "Oh, what do you think that is?" And we start just coming up with these random ideas of what we think it is.
Yeah, I mean,
there's no dice in this box. I can't believe it. And then he's like, "Oh no, wait, here's a picture of the dice." And this is no dice photo leak.
Yeah. Or like this, this Dreadnought's too big. Like they're making fun of the images, and I just think it's funny that they're just whoever did this at GW needs a raise. Like plain and simple. Like this person took this viral marketing on both sides. It's a leak, and then they even capitalized on the leak itself. So like kudos on them. I mean, there's a million videos on the internet right now on YouTube, talking about these leaks, and it's funny.
My personal favorite is they leaked a photo of the age thing on the box. It says 12 and older, and then next to that it says 0 through 3, and it's like the Ghostbusters
not for kids
not
below
for kids. 3. And he's like, "We have a theory. The box clearly states not suitable for under 3s, but also recommended for age 12 plus, meaning there is an age range where you can hold the box but not open it."
Yeah, see, they're playing off it all. I mean
because this is what we do. When we see leaks,
you nitpick every number, every word, every font.
Or you come up with some random train of thought as to where they're going with it or what it's going to be.
Yeah.
And we're guilty of doing it. I know I've done it. We did it in our video just last week when we were trying to come up with ideas like what they're going to do with the dwarves. Like, are they going to take them out of Cities of Sigmar?
Yes.
And we just start theorizing. what
I
could
would think
possibly happen.
70% of my week is looking for GW AOS rumors and like
What's
talk.
next? What's next?
Because it's such a weird things leak from different places. I mean, there's so many like 4chan leaks and like people are like, oh, take this with a grain of salt, but like, oh, this could be catastrophic. And then, I mean, it's crazy what a leak can do for your excitement about something new, especially when, you might not get releases for things you like for months or years. So like even a little tidbit of hope. Rebellions are built on hope. There's a lot to be, gleaned from it. And I think it's exciting. It just is what it is. But yeah, I mean, kudos on GW.
There's got to be something to the mentality of it. Like, this is something I found. This
Yes.
isn't something I was told about. This isn't something you gave me. This is something I found that I'm not supposed to have it. Everybody else should look at
Yeah.
it. So like there's a little bit of that, like GW might be playing with that a little bit, like, oh yes, you're right, you found it.
Yeah.
Haha.
Hand in the
Now
cookie
let's
jar,
talk
like,
about it.
ooh.
Yeah.
Bad but at the same time,
The Dreadnought picture specifically leans to what you're talking about. Like, look at this thing. It's nuts. No way that's real.
yeah, they're playing off it. It's just, it's super, and it's just well done.
I like any time a company can have a little fun at its own expense.
Absolutely. Or even run with it. Like, oh, something got out or whatever. We'll take, how important is it, excuse me, to be the person, or like for when a company releases a product, how important is it for them to be the ones that release the info as opposed to it leaking? Is it really that big of a deal?
And one of the things that I like about it is, like, if I'm releasing a product that I know is subpar, I want to control every single portion of the narrative. I want to be able to control every I and I want to dot every I and cross every T, and don't show them that T because that one's not as good. If you're willing to kind of like poke fun at your own thing, like maybe you're actually like super excited to have it in people's hands. Like, maybe the game is awesome. Maybe they did such a good job. They're like, you know what? Try to find a problem with it because we're gonna make fun of it ourselves.
Yeah. And I really think GW is such a unique position that this can get spoiled. We could all see it, and there's just so much behind it that, like, I don't think some companies might not survive a scrutiny of a product that might not. It's like, how many times you hear like, we didn't ask for this? Like, isn't that like, you always hear that on the internet about anything cross media? And like, I just think that like, we're conditioned to have GW in this 3-year cycle. So like, people start guessing in these kind of summertime mid-year releases that like, oh, this is when we should get this. Like, where's Warcry? There's been 8 months dry for Warcry if you're a fan, and there's no product. So people like, oh, is it gone? There's all that speculation. But I think GW is in such a spot where, they'll announce this, but think how many other releases are going to be for this new Horus Heresy edition right behind it that are just going to either pave this over or just make it better. So,
and if Horus Heresy isn't your flavor of ice cream, then guess what? There's another one coming down the line 2 weeks from now.
Infinitely,
1 week
very
from
soon,
now,
very, very much so.
Yeah.
So,
and then this kind of leak, I don't think is as bad as like a rules leak, where now people don't have to buy the book because the book is out there.
yes, yeah,
that kind of happened with Cities of Sigmar.
yeah,
we were
Votan, Votan happened.
Votan happened. Cities of Sigmar had happened. We were at Gen Con, and the whole Army Battle Tome leaked.
Yeah, you can see all the rules.
PDF was completely leaked, and it's like that's. I mean, you lose money.
Yeah, because then it's like,
Because it's like,
there's
I mean, the minis, you need the minis, you're going to buy the minis. It's cool to see them a little early. But if the entire rulebook leaks, now that's a $60 purchase you don't have to make, maybe.
And Votan was considered broken before release, and there was that scramble to change the
broken
rules
on arrival.
That's why I mean, they even made that James Workshop video about him like talking to upper management, like, oh, what do you mean? They're my favorite, and that's why I made them so strong.
Yeah, I think BOA is almost as bad as DOA. Like, it's like, it's not even out yet, and the community gets to scrutinize how good it is or how bad it is.
You haven't even had the chance to buy the special edition rulebook that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Like
Right,
that box right there.
Yeah, it's still there, and don't get me. I mean, that's one of the older videos. You can see how pissed I was. 30 years.
Yeah.
30 years, and they just made it overpowered. They've made corrections, so that's good.
Yeah,
and they fixed it. But
that's there's a weird trajectory that I don't think maybe they'll ever get rid of rule books in general and go full digital. But like, what's happening right now with AOS and like the free war scrolls, the whole Scourge of Gyron thing we talked about, like, there's a lot of like digital change happening where you're getting more. And hey, listen to me. I'm always in that position of like, if you gave all the rules for free and they were online for us to access, but then you still gave me, I don't know, just a limited edition book accessible. I feel like I would pay a premium just to have that really cool book on my shelf, but like the rules can be constantly updated on the digital side. I feel like that's.
I guess it comes down to how much money they really make.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they make a lot of money on books. I mean, it's just how plain and
So
simple.
they do put a lot of time. They might even put more time into the rules than they do into the minis at this point, if you think about it. Because the amount of
think of it this
the
way.
work that you have to do after the fact. Like once the book comes out, doesn't end there. Especially with the way they're doing it now, with like GHBs and updates and FAQs.
Yeah.
So the living rules are more work probably for them than the minis.
Hours wise, I'm not sure, but I mean, like, it takes one person to scope that model. Like, when you put that leader model in front of me, no matter how big or how small it is, how long it's going to take me to sculpt it, I am the only person sculpting it most likely. I don't know. GW might have these weird McFarlane because
like texture person.
Yeah.
Or like
McFarlane was like, "Oh, you did the right arm, you do the left arm, you do the head. That way, none of you could leave." That kind of thing. But that being aside, like, I imagine the playtesters, that's more manpower hours than the sculpting. I would imagine.
yeah, you have to think to get those rules kind of.
Because you're playing a 2-hour, 3-hour game. You got 2 people each time you're doing it,
And when
and you got to
people-
play hundreds of games to make sure you get
Yeah,
the
a lot
rules
of
right.
nuance. There's
Think
a lot
about
of,
it. The 90% of the chatter after a mini is released is what? How good it is.
Yeah.
Not how it
About
looked.
I mean,
not
how it looks
hard it
goes
was
a
to
long
put
way.
together
But
or not. It,
yeah.
That's the initial is a good and I mean, call me a fanboy, but almost every minute they make looks great. I don't really have a problem with any mini they've made, but the rules are the living problem that they have. It's nobody's playing because the rules affect the sale of the unit.
Yeah.
Because if the unit doesn't do well on the table, no matter how good it looks, Talia, the Cities of Sigmar model,
Yeah.
the girl on
Zenestra or
no, not just Sinestra, not just Pontifex, but Talia Vedra.
Yeah.
Um,
yeah, her sales weren't great because the model
she's-
she just wasn't good in
she
game.
doesn't.
And she's supposed to be a centerpiece model. Like,
Yeah,
so,
she is the
yeah.
centerpiece model, and she doesn't produce on the table.
I mean, it'd be it'd be fascinating to see the sales spike of these Scourge of Gyron update these War Scrolls. Like, there's units that they're making better. How much of direct sales can they say, wow, like, all right, we have an optional way to play
Watch it.
these?
Watch it right now. This Gyron stuff, right? Give it a month.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
I will know in store. All of a sudden, there's all these orders going in for the cannons from Cities of Sigmar.
Yeah.
Because they updated the rules, or this new unit, or that new unit.
and it could be a testing ground for this might happen to 40K at some point. I mean, too, and like it's a testing ground to alternate War Scrolls without having to change the book. So you still kind of bought the book, but then you're waiting for these other digital upgrades. So
I really think X-Wing had it good at the very end,
Yeah.
where like the cards would have baseline stats that they knew would never change, and then the app would tell you the points for those cards.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
the
that was a happy
points could be changed here or there, half point here, 3 points there, 5 points there, but it was never printed in a document. So the card was the card, and then the points were fluctuating, but they were always on almost like a quarterly release schedule. They would give you a new rules update for points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They've gotten, I know, I don't follow in the 40K. I know they do both their battle report upgrade kind of systems where there's points and there's usually, I forget how many times they do it a year, but it doesn't still cover such a long period of time that, like, if something's broken, you're probably playing with it either, BOA, DOA for a while before there's even an attention to it. And then you don't even know if it's going to get any attention anyway when they do it. So yeah, it is what it is. But I got to say, just from the original, this whole Horus hearsay thing, I just think that it's a different direction that we were kind of maybe not used to.
especially coming from older gamers like us. We've been around a long time, and this company has changed a lot
since the
the 80s.
It's fun being able to see it. I think young people don't get to appreciate.
They were just slow. They were slow to jump on this whole like instant gratification internet bandwagon that all these companies are on now. GW was really slow in getting into it. Now they're not only they engaged it, but they seem to be even getting ahead of it now. They're like, screwed. We're in this far. Let's go all the way.
Yeah, because there was a time where they would tell you the release schedule for months, and they would lose the hype. And then they went completely backwards and said, we're not telling you anything until the week before it comes out.
Yeah.
And then it was like an about face. And now this is somewhere in that happy medium. It's like, oh, well, we would rather you not tell you for a little while, but it happened.
Yeah.
Oh, well, here you go. Here's something.
They
that's
do
where
a
the
release with no date.
Yeah.
Like, here's all these new Spaceballs. When are they coming? To be determined.
And that's when the rumor mill.
I think that's shipping. I think that's
You're
not something
probably
they
right.
want.
But,
I think that's just something they have to do.
The thing is, what are we doing? We're talking about it.
Yeah, and I think in the old days it was that rumor mill which really fed that because we didn't know when it was going to be released until a week before if we were lucky. the Days of Warseer, if anybody remembers that forum,
Warseer
like
was great back then.
combing just things of text for someone to leak. Oh, I'm in the know. I know someone says this is definitely next. Oh, and it's written by so and so. Like, oh, DOA. Like, but like that's the only way we would know. And then that was still salt. Take it with a grain of salt. So yeah,
That used to be a big thing. Like, once the
Who's
writing a codex?
Who wrote the book? Oh, that's
that guy. Oh, forget it.
Yeah,
Gav Thorpe wrote the dwarf book. Oh, they're done.
Matt Ward.
Matt Ward,
my
yeah.
God. Like
Yeah.
I think he got ran out of the gaming community
Good
just
poor
by
guy.
like sheer horror.
Yeah.
But yeah. So Horace, what do you have to say about it? You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like he's I just, a quick note on the miniatures though. Like the Horus Heresy box always makes me laugh because they split into two factions. They're actually salamanders on one side painted and the other side is Iron Warriors. So traitor loyalists and traitors. But if you buy that box, you can just make them all your own.
Whatever
it's like
you
one
want,
of the few boxes is like, you could play both sides with a friend or just buy the whole thing for yourself and then just have all these.
It's really smart. It's
Yeah.
it's a smart starter set.
Yeah.
You can justify it as a 2-player starter set. You could also justify it as a 1-player mega starter set.
Yeah. And what do they call it? Saturnine pattern. The name of the box is the pattern of armor that the Terminators are and the Dreadnought is.
Saturnine.
Saturnine.
Looks like Saturn and 9.
Yeah, that's a very old, like when they were first getting Terminators, before Terminators became Terminator models like the way we saw in Space Hulk, those were like old drawings that like, I have a metal miniature like that. It's just all shoulders and the little round head stuck in the shoulders. And like, it's funny how like they've gone back to those old designs and just made them different armors of the Horus Heresy.
Old is new again.
Nostalgia's a real thing.
Yeah. But yeah, so if you're down with the hype,
Check it out.
Yeah, if you're a Horus Heresy fan, you got a lot on your plate coming. So
When it's coming?
We don't know.
We don't know.
yeah. So when we're filming this, May 22nd was supposed to be they were supposed to have a reveal, and that got canceled. It was the Dallas Open, one of the Dallas tournaments they're having. People thought that because this leaked that the reveal got canceled. But ironically, that if you look at the dates, the reveal was canceled. And actually, on the 2nd, they're doing the Skulls.
Yes, the video game launch.
The video game launch,
which they do every year now.
And they're gonna have I looked at the slate of people that make video games that are on that docket, and it's pretty extensive. And I think it's Fat Shark makes Dark Tide. They had a teaser trailer of something running very fast.
Very fast, yeah.
So like, what do you get to play as what do you play as Tyranids or like some kind of like fast?
Probably some maybe Space Marine 2 updates, if maybe.
Well,
I don't think they would.
Well, I heard they're working. Maybe it's like, well, supposedly he did the trailer was that Titus might show up in some.
Okay.
I think
In
maybe
some
the
way,
actor might show up because the voice that was.
Cool. And they did just release his mini, so
and his mini just come out. So we'll see. So so we're not getting that reveal. My AOS fans got upset because they're like, "What happened to our reveal? Like, the Horus Heresy squashed any other reveals for any other products." But no, it's just that they're moving them along. So we'll see.
Well, check it out. GW is always up to tricks, and this is
hearsay.
We're talking about it, so that's
If you want to check it out, go to HorusHearsay.com and the official site. It is
the Horus Hearsay.
It is a official GW site.
This is guaranteed to be an official GW site.
That's what it says on the bottom. It's great. So embrace the heresy.
Yep. Enjoy.
Unless you're a loyalist like me.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Speaking of loyalists, I am a loyal fan of Magic the Gathering.
Oh my.
In and out, many years since 1993, but the Universes Beyond has brought us something new from the Great Beyond, and that's Final Fantasy, and
bringing more outside players in, like we discussed
before, and the pricing has been insane for Final Fantasy,
and it just got worse.
It's an avalanche
because they did the previews on Saturday at PAX East, and the previews are amazing. They're actually starting to leak but actually preview some of the cards. They pretty much touched on every Final Fantasy. If you watch the PAX East full thing, they touched on pretty much every Final Fantasy, and they talked about 1 or 2 cards that were derived from each game.
So it crosses the whole pantheon, like 1 to 10 or
1
whatever, however they go.
Every game.
To 16, my friend.
Wow.
There are 16 versions.
The last one's not good. So
Chris's favorite number.
Chris's favorite number is 16, in case you don't know. But
does tactics screw that up? Like, is it really
no? Because
16 plus 1?
So it's 17. Good.
No.
Love
The
it.
tactics games don't count as a full Final Fantasy.
It's Final Fantasy.
Might have the same logo. Look at the font.
Listen,
go by the font.
How you do it, bro? There's a 16 somewhere in there. Even if there's more.
But we go right past it to 17.
Okay. either way, we got a couple looks at cards. Of course, there's the ever lovely Aerith, who spoiler alert, she's quite dead. We got Sephiroth. We have Cloud. Me personally, the Sephiroth card looks amazing. As a commander player, it's low costed and looks like it's going to be devastating. In standard, it's going to be devastating. The art is amazing. It's a modal card. Modal cards flip, so once certain criteria is met on the front card, it can flip.
Is the art is any of the art pulled from any games, or is it all new art?
It's all new art.
Which traditionally,
and on
Magic
top of that,
does.
it's actually traditional artists that have been working with
that's
Square
cool.
Enix
That's awesome.
forever. So,
so it's on point.
It's on point. It's hitting if you're a fan of Final Fantasy and you're a fan of Magic, this is chocolate into peanut butter.
Bam.
That's just the end of it. And if you're not completely sold on the fact, if you're a Final Fantasy fan and you're a Magic fan, just look at the pricing on the collector booster boxes, which is where all the alternate art treatments typically are. And the pricing went from an average, so MSRP on this box, according to WotC, is about $455. It was hitting probably about $600 in the early pre-order phase online.
That's insane.
Which is crazy. Absolutely. And then Saturday, the leaks hit, and the prices spiked to over $700. At the time of this filming, they're at $705.
It's wild.
Market value.
That's insane.
On TCG Player. For
for
a set that's still not even fully...
Yeah. Not like for non-card
released.
people, like that's pretty much a GW Army at like 2,000 points.
That's more than a GW Army.
Yeah, like pimped out, like to your everything you need, all your slots. Like that's insane. Like for one release in that vein. But I get it.
It's a popular IP. It's been around since the 80s.
To have 16 games is like for most titles,
or
like
more if you want to count the Tactics
Definitely
Advance and
more.
Tactics and all the other games. So there's a lot of progress been out there over the years. They're trying to, and then because there's 16 games of fandom that they're trying to appease, they're trying to take a little bit of everything. And so far, it looks like it looks like it's going to work.
Especially over one set, you want to cover a lot of, like you said, if there's 16, there's reoccurring characters, obviously, but then when you characters that are only in certain games, you definitely want to cover a lot of, you want to make the fans happy in a lot of ways. But there's a lot of, any special treatments?
Full arts. Let's see. We got showcases, full arts. There are foils. I don't know if it's a surge foil. I think it's a surge foil. Yep.
Interesting.
Yep. Borderless, of course, and then there is something a little special. We in
What's
the collective
super special.
Well, in collector booster boxes, traditionally they've been putting serialized cards in them lately. This particular time, they actually, surprisingly to me, I thought they would take the opportunity to make more serialized cards. They picked one particular card and made it serialized.
Oh, definitely a main character.
Oh, you would think it's a main character.
Not a main. So what is
It's
the main?
not
is
a main
Is it
character.
a main villain?
I think an
gotta be
animal.
gotta
I
be
would
a
feel
main
like an
villain.
animal
it
would
can't be
always
a main character because there's 16 versions of Final Fantasy out there. So there's one thing that's pretty much in any.
So it's a constant. It's a constant 16, guideline.
It's something that's in almost every Final Fantasy storyline, and it's a chocobo.
Of course it is.
Hyper chicken. Chockety choco.
Chocolatey, it's
the
a
chocolate chicken.
It's a chocobo, and they have the base chocobo, which it's just I think it's 2 colors and a green, and that's just a chocobo. It's actually a pretty good card, but they have in the Final Fantasy games over the years, the rarity of the chocobo is based on the color of the chocobo. And they have, I think it's a total of 6 different varieties now.
Are they all the same rarity
the
and
chocobo.
card?
Yeah, they're all the same rarity, except 4. So they're all, in this case in Magic, it's mythics.
Mythics, okay. But there's a serialized.
Well, there's
mythic
5
chocobo.
different versions, 5 different arts of the chocobo. They're actually still the same art, just different colors.
Different colors. Okay.
Yeah,
Like the ones in
there's
the
a
game.
yellow. There's, you're gonna have to help me because
We got a yellow, we got a pink, we got a green, we got a blue, and we have a black.
a black. But
They're all,
all the same-
green
they're all-
aspect color.
it's all the same
for
card.
card,
just
but they're just
variants.
different colors. Cool.
If you're a sports fan, it's parallels, right?
Okay, so you want
Okay.
all the colors, but
But-
then
They serialize one of them,
which would be the gold,
the gold chocobo.
which I know you could see.
Yes, that one I could see. So,
Now that's a how many in the serial run?
only 77.
Now, okay, I have a couple of questions here.
Okay.
Number one, Do you think that the gold one looks like a Pokemon card?
It absolutely 110%
Well, there's no.
looks like a Pokemon.
I mean, as soon as I saw it, I thought this is a gold Pokemon card.
Yes, it has. Well, it's that same clip. But is it so? There's no text box on that one.
That particular one, no. It's a
That
full,
makes
it's
it-
a
I
full.
feel like-
It's a what they call a full art.
Which
But
is
even
no
the
text
gold
box.
Pokemon cards had text boxes for their powers. Like
True,
this,
true.
But it just screams Pokemon to me. So good on Magic for trying to tap to that well, because that's
close.
a collector's well too.
We're in the.
And this picture that we have here currently also doesn't do it justice because it's full on blue
And then
foil.
Yeah.
number 2, why 77?
So we thought they would do 770. We honestly, I personally think it's because I think it's the year that he created the first Final Fantasy game.
Was 77?
77. That's what.
Or like the property, the IP was created in Japan, shape, or
so,
form.
yeah.
Either.
Mhm. But then some people were like, well, why not make 770 of them?
They wouldn't make it rare, but you're not making. Then it's like not really prestigious, right? At that point, it's not like the One Ring, like at that point. So.
And in the past, the serialized cards have been 500, 250. So this one being 77, it's
truncated number, it makes it a little harder. Like there's only 77 in the
which
world.
means I'm guessing that this card's going to be $1,000.
At least.
Oh,
If
yeah.
not more.
I mean, if not more, because it's.
I mean,
is that the shortest? Is that the smallest serialization number?
other than
besides the
other than the
Nazgul and
other than the One Ring.
the One Ring, and then what was the next highest of the? Was it Lord of the Rings had like 250?
250 was the
Like kind of, and then so this is like this. So this is really the first.
It's been 250. It's been 500.
Okay,
And one,
and one, which is
the
insane.
One
yes.
Ring. So
Which-
now we have 77.
which I'm sure Marvel's. I'm not gonna.
It's not only so
Right,
it's serialized at 77 and it's a mythic. It's only in mythic. So
And these are only in collector boosters.
and only in
and
collectibles.
all of them,
All of them.
or just the gold.
The gold one is only in
Only.
collectors.
What about the other ones?
The other ones? Let's see. I don't know.
I feel like
think
it'd be-
nope, collector.
Oh man,
All
but
the variants.
the regular green chocobo is in
The
play
regular
boosters and
chocobo
stuff.
could be
Gotcha.
in the box,
But all the variants of it
variants
are-
are in the collector
oh
only.
my good.
No wonder the collector boosters are going crazy.
Mhm.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Now I have another question, because there's a regular Final Fantasy card game, right?
Yes, there is already in existence.
And it's still in print and it's still being played.
It's
Like
still being
it's
played.
weird that Magic was able to do this and
Well,
I guess-
judging from what we're paying for it and what MSRP is, they paid through the nose to do
Interesting.
this. And I guess Square Enix figures, hey, we own the IP. It's not going to hurt us because the game's already in existence. Magic's been around. If Magic hasn't already killed the Final Fantasy game, just throwing a couple of
Yeah.
characters in the game is
It's
not gonna-
marginalized it enough where it's its own.
If you
community.
like the mechanics of that game, you're going to still play that game.
Yeah.
If you like the mechanics of this game, you're still going to play this game. And then you're going to get
and it's a one shot.
you might get some crossover. Maybe somebody who's into Magic didn't even know that the other game existed, and they cross over, and vice versa.
Yeah.
Right. So maybe the person that's been playing that game says, "Oh, now I can play Magic," or if not play it, just buy the cards, just chase them.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting to see now. Like we've never in all of these Universe Beyonds, we've never come back to an IP yet twice. Besides from Dungeons and Dragons, did like the Forgotten Realms, we came back twice, but that's still in Hasbro's wheelhouse.
Lord of the Rings reprinted once
So,
into
but
like a
it's-
winter set or a special set.
It wasn't a full reprint set, and that's the one that's, by the way, those collector booster boxes
Crazy.
Are
are
insane.
$1,700
Yeah.
a box as we speak.
But we've never gone back to like all these have kind of just been one shots for now.
For now, they haven't gone back.
So like
yet.
this is such a cash cow that like
Yeah.
in 3 years we might be like revisiting.
I was gonna say
Final
so.
Fantasy.
So 2 questions.
Go ahead.
Number 1, what Universes Beyond is not released or announced that you want? Number 2,
Fair.
which one do you think we go back to first? If we were to go back to any of the ones they've already printed, up and through Marvel because it's coming and we know that it's showing up.
Who wants to you? I'll go first because I'm not really I'm not a Magic player, but I feel like going back to Marvel because Spider-Man's very focused. I feel like at some shape or form, like I'm not saying they would do a Guardians of the Galaxy set, but I feel like there's another whole like X-Men, or going back. I think there's a lot of Marvel properties that you could like Avengers just in itself, like tackling. I could see them going back to it. I don't think. I mean, I know what I would want.
I love your idea, by the way, of the gauntlet.
Yeah, I think if there's a set that has to do another one of, you have to do a one of a
Infinity
serialized one of every stone,
And a serialized one
and
of
a
Gauntlet.
serialized one of Gauntlet. That you have the Gauntlet and you make that with your Thanos going to snap your finger. I'm so sure Posty's taking out loans right now because like that would look amazing. However you display that of all the stones, but what would I want? Like I don't think Star Wars is on the docket at any way, shape, or form to make a one-off Star Wars set. Because when you said there's a Fantasy Flight already existing card game, could Star Wars have a one-off Star Wars Magic the Gathering set and then never revisit it? Because SWO's pretty much a thriving game right now, I would think, in popularity, and it's still kind of new and it's putting out sets. But
let's take the theory and do the 7 ways to Kevin Bacon and try to draw the lines. So WotC makes Magic. Who owns Star Wars right now?
you got Disney.
Disney. Can we get them together somehow? Is there a line where they've already collabed somewhere? Is there products out there?
Marvel.
Well, Marvel will be their first collab.
Okay, so there's the line. All right, we just drew the line. It's been done. It's been done.
And
there are Marvel
Fantasy Flight makes a Marvel card
game. There are. All right.
That's right.
All right.
So there is
it's
there. There's
The path is there. It can be done. It's been done. Not can be done. It has been done. Disney and WotC have done things together. Right? So there's your 7 ways to Kevin Bacon. All right. So
the possibility is there. I mean,
especially here's another one. Final Fantasy. We were just talking about it. It has a game. And we drew a line to Square Enix, so it can happen.
Yeah. It's weird too, like as much as I would want maybe a Star Wars set to see the cards, for me personally, it wouldn't get me to play Magic.
Yes, it would. Don't even lie to yourself.
I don't think
you're a liar.
Well, because I just don't like the mechanic anymore.
You would play Commander with us.
You wouldn't play a Commander
if they dropped the Darth Vader deck.
Darth Vader Commander deck.
It would be cool, but I just don't like sitting there and watching you play a game for 15 minutes and do all these triggers, and then I have to figure out all these things and read upside down. Like, I think I feel like I'm too old for Magic. Like, when I look at the cards in Commander, because they're never it's not a 2/2 trample anymore. That does not exist. You know what I mean? Is there
a 2/2 trample exists?
No.
The last
with no other words?
There's one. The tramp. There's the last card made. Matter of fact, it's on the top of my head.
I'm saying, like,
it's just from a couple sets ago. The last plain card was made in a set probably about 3 years ago, and I can't remember right off the top of my head.
I couldn't
But there's
imagine
no other card that has just
a blank text box.
Other than tokens. There's no card that's just like a 2/2 bear or 3/3 bear. That doesn't exist anymore.
Because they don't really play
everything's got trample, flying, something. There's
there's multiples.
Multiples. There's always a keyword.
I would love it.
I would absolutely love to build a Rakdos Darth Vader Commander deck.
That'd
be just wildly good.
I just feel like I feel like that would have to be a constant to really make, like, if it was a pre-con, cool, and it's made there and it's made for that. But
I think you would play the Commander because the last time I remember you even playing Magic was the Warhammer 40K decks.
I don't know. You know what?
You played once with us.
I don't even remember. Last time I remember I played Magic was I played a blue Leviathan pre-con. One of the pre-cons was all blue sea creatures. And I was totally into that.
That was in here, like when we first opened the store.
Honestly, I don't remember the last time I played because I don't think I would love the cards and I probably would buy them for treatments, but I can't find myself playing it.
What about you?
Oh, what IP would hit?
What do you think we're gonna get a reprint of? What IP would you like to see other than Star Wars?
Yeah.
Because Star Wars was my obvious one too, but I have a back.
Considering that the Fallout show is coming up on a second season, I could see either a Secret Lair or probably another revisit, especially because Fallout, as a store owner, we got 6 collector boxes. It was short printed, like super short printed. So I could see
Were there good cards in there?
There were good cards in there as well. So I could see them revisiting that, especially tie it into the show. And there wasn't a lot out there, and it's hard to get now too. So that's for sure. As for what I would like to like, is there an IP that I would want to see them go to Universes Beyond? It's going to be Star Trek.
That's interesting.
It's going to be Trek. I mean, this next set coming out is a space set.
Star Wars.
It's like we might see. I mean, Dustborn. There was like Ghostbusters. There was like Jason. There was
horror movie
trope, right? So with this space trope coming out, I'm sure we'll see some similarities to the Star Wars universe, some similarities to the Trek universe. Maybe Firefly. References,
Dune,
maybe
or like any kind of like sci-fi.
Well, any kind of sci-fi. We might just see generic sci-fi references everywhere. So why not bring in Trek? Cast of characters is huge. Legendary creatures are all over the place. Ships, vehicles. I mean, it's as a Magic player, ships can be vehicles, and then you got to crew them. And then if you crew them with engineers, or you crew them with or what's better than seeing the security team, knowing that they're gonna die. That maybe they have like some kind of like auto die mechanic that when they hit the table they're gonna die in 3 rounds. Why? Because they're red shirts. Right? There's definitely room to have fun with that there. So and being a Trekkie, I would love to see. And we don't really have the last Star Trek game we had that was a CCG was the old Decipher game.
Yeah,
and that was
I don't
just
even know
like
dates on that.
Yeah,
Jeez.
that was. I think it was in the 90s, and it was really just they just took stills from the show.
Next gen.
It was next gen.
It was next.
I'm sure they had
gen,
expansions posted, but still.
Other than that, I mean, we have the one of the games we just played, the Star Realms reskin of Star Trek, but there's no CCG of Star Trek.
No,
and
not for
the universe is big enough to do it. It's as big, if not bigger, than any universes that are out there right now. So, yeah, if you want to go universes beyond, for me, what I would love to see, I would love to see Trek.
What's your
I think Doctor Who is going to be the one that they go back to the first because there's how many doctors and they've only done those. And it was, correct me if I'm wrong, it was collector boosters and commander decks. That was it.
That was it. Yeah.
There was nothing else that was in there.
No.
So I guess even going back to that, I think it was pretty popular. It's a popular IP across the world.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that might be one. And then I would say Star Wars. I remember there was like an old like bootleg on the deep web.
You printed those,
where you could you print out Magic cards. Like Boba Fett was black, red, green.
Yeah, they were like reskins.
Blue
It
TIE
was
fighters.
like it was not balanced. It was hard to play. But it was really cool to have them as cards. But I would like to see the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh,
That'd be kind of cool. Like you could do like a Foot Clan deck with Shredder.
They got deck boxes. I mean, come
They
on.
could
they
at
have
least do a secret layer drop for that, at the very least.
Yeah, it'd be kind of
If
fun.
the universe
like,
is not huge, so I get maybe you couldn't do a 250 card set, but you could definitely do a secret layer.
or even
commander decks.
just a set of commander decks.
Yeah.
Give me like
Yeah.
the 4 turtles and Shredder as commander decks or something like that. That'd be kind of cool, right? Like
I
do
think
the Foot Clan Commander deck.
exactly.
Yeah,
like
with Shredder,
it could just be
1/1
tokens all over the
Yeah.
place. Like,
Ninja the foot. Like, that's awesome. Well, and I think it's cool. Like I think commander decks is a great way to just give you 4 commander decks or 5, right? If you're doing some oddball combinations, it's a great way to give you an IP and come back with it and not give you maybe a full set. So that's cool.
Again, I love the universes beyond stuff, so I think it's great.
So yours is what, Teenage, and then Doctor Who. A comeback for Doctor Who and Teenage.
yeah,
Mutant Turtles.
I'm not in love with Doctor Who, but at the same time, I think that's the one that's ripe
Something
for
that they're-
more plumbing.
I think I would amend my statement of playing Magic again, where I think Star Wars, as much as I'd like to see the cards and the artwork and the treatment, I wouldn't want to play it because I do enjoy swooze back and forthness. But you know what would really get me back to play Magic would be if they did an AOS GW set, because that for me, I'm kind of like I'm like a snobbish purist in the sense that like I like the fantasy tropes when it's pure fantasy. So if you gave me the AOS tropes, because there is no AOS card game, there used to be the one that used to turn. I forgot then there was it
Champions.
AOS would like a
Dan is currently vibrating. You're
yeah.
gonna
Sorry,
Well, because once again, when you brought up something, we're like, is it possible?
no, it's
It's been done already.
they did 40K.
They did 40K.
Yeah.
And they did Age of Sigmar. They did Sigmar, but it was like Secret Layer.
Yeah,
It
did
wasn't
Blood
it-
Bowl,
They
Secret
did
Layer.
Blood Bowl, Secret
Blood
Layer.
Bowl. I mean,
Right, so it's there.
the Blood
It's
Bowl
there.
set would be crazy. Like, that would be like playing football through Magic, but like But yeah, I mean,
It's in the realm of possibilities.
I would do that
There's
because
nothing
a lot of
beyond
combinations.
this universe
boy.
that they can't do.
Ooh, oh
Dad-
my! We
Dad
did it again.
jokes galore.
Yeah.
That's all I got, baby. That's all
Yeah,
I
so
got.
I mean, yeah, I'm down. I'm down there. That might get me going because there's no alternative.
I'll sign up for.
There's no alternative. Like
I will sign up for just to see dwarves from AOS or just see
picture
Stormcast.
Nagash on a card, like you know what I mean, like picture those like legendary, having those.
Yeah, I mean, I already
commanders.
saw it. I saw, we saw.
Wasn't Archeon was not a card.
Calgar? Moni's Calgar. Was
No, but what was the AOS cards? Wasn't there? There was never. What was else? Wasn't there like an AOS?
Abaddon. Abaddon was on there. Oh
No,
was there
AOS, not in 40K.
Oh,
Was
the
there-
AOS Secret Layer. They did.
They did the hammer.
They did the hammer with
Oh,
just like a
Galmaraz.
I think
Okay.
it was just a reskin of a
Yes,
Loxodon
yeah.
Okay.
Warhammer, but it was Galmaraz. Yeah.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
it was just a reskin. It
Archeon,
wasn't original content. It was just a
yeah,
reskin.
ever chosen on a
Yeah.
card like with all the.
Very cool.
Yeah, I'll go there. Thank you. Printed. Let's go.
Printed. Let's go. And all right, so see, Magic's just printing all over the place. Tons of cards, lots of cards, all these cards. Everybody can have all the cards.
Well, it's
Right, almost limitless cards. But there's another card game that
Where you
is-
can't have the cards.
where you can't have the cards,
no
and
cards for you.
no cards for you. And we recently had our buddy FaZe, who's our community lead for Flesh and Blood, on.
Sure, he's super happy.
He's excited for the new set. I mean, the Hunted was a great set. It was well received. We are having issues with LSS with them not making enough. And we just got our allocations for the new set, which is called High Seas.
Mhm.
And they were probably about half what we were expecting. So, and
Kinda
that
sucks.
And this is not me just saying half of what I'm expecting. This is distribution telling me.
This is the global.
This is distribution.
announcements.
Now we know, we talked about it in the past, there's only 2 distributors for LSS, Flesh and Blood. And
Which
that's-
let's LSS being being what I would consider to be a moral company. Those are the 2 distributors that chose to hold their product when they first launched,
yes.
and they have since. You took a gamble on us. We're going to stick with you through thick and thin.
So it's
We're
a
not. They
it's
didn't.
loyalty thing.
Loyalty.
They didn't move up to. They didn't move to Alliance, which good for them. They didn't move to Alliance, but they didn't move to any of the other distributors that didn't carry them before
Yeah.
this.
Because I think they went to them and everybody was like, no, no, no. And these 2 said yes. And so they're
Yeah, I mean,
being loyal, which
Gambling on a new card game is always tough.
is
For
a well-
like,
well
laying out that
done-
much capital.
well done and good on them for sure.
Yeah.
But
No doubt.
there's only 2 distributors, and there's not enough product to go around.
Yeah.
It seems.
Well, now the game's in its not in its infancy anymore. So right. So
No,
now
it's,
you're
in,
in that.
it's in a groove. It's got a competitive scene like any others, more so than most. Actually, it's probably the most competitive card game currently in print. I mean, I know Magic has competitions and whatever, and Star Wars is now having planetary qualifiers, and they got the World Championships.
it's
but
definitely the most supported.
Supported
because they
at that
put
level.
up a hub like $1.5 million, $2 million a year for their pro
Cash.
tour
Mhm.
that goes out cash to winners. Like they're definitely ponying up the money for the
Now,
professional players.
do we know what's at the root of this?
Well, we don't. That's the problem.
We do-
Distribution is
we just
telling me
know
they-
that
they
the
gotta have.
last 2 sets have been kind of short.
Okay, so that's
and this
it's
set
a trend.
and this set was shorter than the Hunted, and
So
the Hunted is already. We can't get it anywhere. Distros are out.
So we can't use the T word right now in our current state of
No, this is not a
economics.
This is not a tariff issue. This is
You can never tell. You can never know. I don't think
We don't
I
know,
don't think
but
the
I-
only person that knows is James White and the people that run LSS.
Yeah.
I don't
those
think so, because
uppers.
we know this stuff is planned out before,
Yeah, no,
and
true.
and the Hunted was low, and this was before.
And they're printed again where?
Belgium and
That's
Japan.
Belgium and Japan. Yeah, for
Okay.
this particular game.
Gotcha.
So I don't think it's a tariff issue.
I also think that they're still trying to work out how much they should print for every set because there was a whole overprinting issue early in the game,
Especially
and
bright
it
lights.
almost destroyed it. Like it almost killed it because the box prices were like $40 or $50 a
cheap,
box. Even with their map, people were going against map to sell to just
get rid
blow
of it.
out boxes.
And that's like that new game syndrome where like a new card game has to worry about that finding the sweet spot's got to be almost impossible.
See, it's almost like a perfect sine graph, right? Like it has ebbs and flows. It goes up and down, and sometimes you print too much, and sometimes you print too little. And you always want to get as close to the line, the perfect line, as you can. But it's tough.
The 2 lines you have to hit at the same time are playability and collectability.
Yes.
Those 2 things have to and it's almost impossible to do.
Well, don't
you
you
know-
think though there's a point where like these are 3 new has there ever been pirates before?
There's never been pirates
pirates.
before, and there's never been a necromancer before.
So like all right, so those are complete new ways to play the game
Mhm.
or new aspects to the game. Don't I always feel like those are the
Spikes.
I feel like it's weird to underprint that and then like or maybe it's not and then the clamor's there like we love this new mechanic, we love how these characters play and you want them and then they're not there. I don't know that, like I said, that's a weird. I understand like sets that have the same mold and supporting the same characters, you might keep it status quo, but like on a new endeavor, whatever, it's a money thing that like us as fans will never have the access to.
Another thing I think is they're trying to expand to other markets. So I think they are taxing their own printers at the fact that like instead okay, we're gonna print it in English, we're gonna print it in Italian, we're gonna print it in Spanish. We have this many printers, we can run this many boxes. Now we're going to add Japanese or these other languages to it, but we haven't expanded our printers.
Actually, you still have to accommodate.
So
those.
now instead of our printers doing a third in Japanese, a third in Spanish, and a third in this and a third in that, now they're going to do a quarter in English, a quarter in this, a quarter. Like you're not expanding you're not expanding your time on the printer, but you're expanding how many different countries it's going to, and you're maybe cutting it that way.
oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Another aspect to that is they are doing all these events that you were talking about globally, and at these events they have kind of like drafts and sealed events. You know they want the newest set there.
Mhm.
I guarantee you, there's
they're keeping
a
for
couple
themselves
thousand
for sure.
boxes
Getting
at
ready
these
for that.
events,
Yeah.
and they want them there, and then we'll help. The second wave
Will be
of
whatever they don't use for those
whatever.
events.
Yeah, so that's another drain on
But we're
the
talking
product.
we're talking a pallet per event. So we're maybe 2 pallets per event. We're not talking a gigantic number because there's not that many events.
Going back to what you said, Chris, about the languages, I remember when I went on my family vacation to Italy, and I visited a bunch of stores, and I was talking to the owners of the small stores there about Star Wars Unlimited, and that was an issue getting Italian language printed Star Wars Unlimited cards, where they weren't getting them fast enough. The print runs were a lot different, and then they were getting more English print runs. And the customers were playing with 2 language card decks, basically. And that was an issue for him of like, well, we don't have any Italian for you, but if you want to buy the English ones, you can. And then they had the problem of selling, dual language sets, which, I mean, most countries do speak both their native language
Yeah,
and
it
English.
works pretty much everywhere else but here.
But here,
here,
yeah.
yeah.
So like, it was interesting there hearing them say like, we have customers that want the native language printed cards, but like they settle for the English ones. So like you said, like they're opening up those new markets that might be so taxing on.
Yeah, like they've focused on the Asia market a lot. They just had one of their last big events was there. They did a couple of their last release event was there. Like they're focusing on that area. So I think a lot of it comes to growing pains of not knowing how much to print in this language and where it's going to go.
Yeah.
But we only have so many printers at Carta Monday running our stuff off at that month. So
Yeah.
it's
I mean, it could be a sign of the times too, where we are talking about tariffs. But think about a country that's it's created in New Zealand, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So like talking about bypassing American tariffs, we're opening up a market in the Asian market, and shipping from Belgium and Japan to other Asian markets, there's no tariffs probably, or like at least not the trade war
or
tariffs
different
we
tariffs
are.
at least.
At least not as probably egregious as what's happening now. So like there's a whole new profit boom that could happen for them. So maybe that's why we're seeing, it's not really affecting, the tariffs, the market here and them getting cards here, but maybe that emerging market, they're like, oh, you know what? Put more resources there because maybe they just don't, like you said, we don't know. To be a fly on the wall in half of these corporations.
We're guessing because they're
fascinating.
not giving us info. And
Mhm.
you don't give us info, we have to just try to extrapolate why we're not getting the product.
Yeah.
Because it's a good product. I mean, we don't know about this particular set, but like you were discussing before, new classes is always a spike.
Yeah, you
and
think
attention.
that's the time. That's
Maybe
the
somebody's like, a new player comes in and like, oh, that's a new hero. I could start carving out my own little niche because I'll be the first one that does a new pirate deck or whatever.
Necromancer Pirate. Like
Yeah.
I never thought about. I never even think about looking at Flesh and Blood as a card game. Like
So-
that sounds really interesting. So,
So if this is going to be a set that brings in new players, the last thing you want to have is a shortage of product.
yeah, it's tough. It's a
Because
tough.
then you get that negative.
Well, I mean, you're not going to have any product after the first week.
No.
It's going to be gone. Like
we're
there's
already
just,
talking about putting caps on
you
pre-orders.
you are getting a lot compared to a lot of places, but it's still going to be gone.
Yeah.
So like,
it's absolutely going to be gone.
and that's in general. That's across all stores.
Mr. Owner of Red Seal, I heard that there's a new Flesh and Blood card game that's got pirates in it. Can you sell me any of it? And you say no.
No.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Especially for a set that would probably bring in some new players with new classes and whatnot. Not just the new cards, but we'll see what happens. Only time will tell. Maybe we'll get some news after release about a reprint or whatever. I don't see a second wave anytime soon coming. We're still weaning on Hunted. So here we are, 3 months later, and we still don't have Hunted as a regular thing.
Yeah,
on the
we're
shelves.
already into the next release window.
Yeah.
And that one didn't get reprinted.
Didn't get reprinted yet.
Interesting.
Or another wave or whatever you want to say. So it's a little troubling. It's a little concerning for a game that seems to be doing well, too. It has its niche. It just doesn't seem to be growing, and it's just only going to hurt it.
I think it's growing, just not in a way that affects us. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
True.
It would be.
I mean, it's a meta in the store. I mean, it is what
It'd be a
is.
fascinating book to read if they said here is all the decisions we made, here's why we made them, here's all the behind the scenes stuff that you weren't privy to that gave us these decisions. Oh, by the way, the ship that had the Hunted on it sank in the middle of the Pacific and we didn't tell you, and like that
Don't tell FaZe,
containers
he'll pick up the scuba gear.
that container's at the bottom of the ocean. Like that's why it was underprinted. Like those are the things we're never gonna know.
No, and I think I'm sure the real true answers are just so boring or just so like, oh, we didn't we expected a 10% profit more than normal and we didn't get it, so we like it's probably just numbers,
Yeah,
like in
probably,
the end,
yeah.
and like that's why we never find out because it's not really exciting, and it'd probably make people angry. Like if you really knew the truth of
simple.
why, because it would just look like greed. When
GW does it all the time.
yeah, I mean most places do it. Movie companies, like everything, most of our pop culture, like why is this not being made? Like, and as fans, we don't want to know the answer. I think.
Yeah, I guess.
You know, it's sad,
But
to say.
they don't do a lot of direct sales, right? Like
No.
unlike GW that has a direct sales portal and rather sell it that way, like they don't have one. So like
No.
you'd think that they would want
they
to print
don't-
as much as they can to sell it the way that they do.
And
But
this is their only product line. It's not like they make Commander decks and you know every now and then they make those cool boxes, but it's just really the booster boxes is all they really make.
Mhm.
And maybe it's so simple as, you know, you run the numbers, you're like, oh, if we printed 300,000 and we're going to sell out, it just looks good on the books.
Yeah, in
You
the
know.
end, that's just what you want.
Yeah.
That's your business
It's
model.
It's a
Like-
profitable company.
Well, I mean, we're going to look at Asmodee very soon. and
this is going to be the last set of their fiscal year. So
So now, you know, when the bookkeeping comes around, well, how'd you guys do? Oh, we sold out everything.
Yeah.
Everything we make is gone. It's
gone.
amazing. Look at our numbers. It's fantastic. Meanwhile, there's a guy going in the back, you morons, we could have made twice as much if we
Yeah.
printed more.
But I guess that risk, like, you know, big
It's a
business,
big risk,
there's
yeah.
that risk reward. And like, we're going to see Asmodee very soon. This next Star Wars Unlimited set is going to be on hangers in big box
yeah,
stores.
you know what, you saying that just kind of scared me a little bit because that's exactly what big businesses do before they sell.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And
I wonder if they got people on the
they make themselves looking tight. Look how awesome we look. We sell
we
everything.
sold out everything for the last 2 sets. This last 6 month cycle, we don't have a single thing in our warehouse because we sold it all.
Yeah. And if you're
We are
selling it to a corporation that can quadruple production and they're like, wow, you made this and we can make 10
Look
times
how-
that at our production level, you know,
Look
that's
how profitable
Ooh,
we are.
that was a goose just walked over my grave with that. I don't like that. Moving on.
Yeah.
Well, it could be a good thing. It could be a good thing.
could
I'm
also
not
be a
saying-
bad thing.
I'm not.
yeah, it's
Change is bad, Chris. Right?
it really is.
Kirby
fun.
Albert says change is bad.
Sinch loves change. I'm sorry, I had to go there. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. You know, I mean, fingers crossed, everything works out the way it's supposed to.
Speaking of fingers crossed,
Whoa.
let's hope that this tariff situation is settling down a little
Big
bit.
T on the T.
Big T. Time out. Time out.
Oh, I'm going to lap this puppy.
Time out. El Presidente has said that he has made a deal with China, and it seems like it's a lot better than it was. I mean, it's a temporary deal. I think I hate to make hard, fast decisions or comments about what's happening. This is a fluid situation, as I'm trying to put it as
There's nothing in concrete.
polite as
here.
possible.
This
There's
is
no-
wet concrete. This is concrete that never cures.
he
Like,
could
basically,
wake
it's
up.
constantly-
Either one of these world leaders could wake up tomorrow and something pisses them off, and it just changes everything.
Yeah.
Because let's not. I don't want to just poo-poo on our president. I mean, we're not. The Chinese leader is not exactly a stable citizen himself.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
I
we're,
mean, he
we're
could-
talking about
yeah.
really, you know,
We're talking
weird
about
systems.
two unstable individuals that
Yeah.
could make decisions.
I have no comment about any of this.
I don't-
Yeah,
When-
no, but it's
They can
just-
they can make decisions on a whim, and we don't know what's happening with this. There's a deal in place right now. All we can judge is by what's happening right now, and right now it looks better.
It
than
looks
it-
better on
than it
paper.
was,
But once
so.
again, there's whatever deal is made by the time that goes into effect, and then things start moving. If you just look at a Chinese factory, how backed up are they on the orders that were in place that got canceled and
Mm-hmm.
paused? Because it's not like everybody kept working and like, oh, they're going to work it out, keep making all our products. Everything stopped dead.
Are the boats turning around? Are they coming back? Were they halfway back? And they're
Well,
coming
think
back
and then
now?
Yeah.
how long
Right.
are they going to sit in port and
Yeah.
they're going to all get checked? Because think of that system. Now you're going to be backlogged with incoming materials. And then what about new orders? Like new orders, you're talking waylaid into
Yeah, I think
space.
this is a problem that I don't know that our customers or really even the store felt that much yet. It was always on the tariffs are there, and that's what it's 100 and some odd percentage or whatever this. It didn't feel like that big of a deal at the time because everything is printed so far in advance.
Yeah.
So the stuff that was in store coming out brand new on May the 1st was printed before the tariffs were even there, and
we didn't
probably
really
were
feel
in
it.
the country before that. You didn't even feel it.
warehoused.
It's
Yep.
the stuff that's coming out this summer. It's the stuff that's coming out for the fall in the winter
Yeah.
season. That's the stuff that is going to be affected by this.
All the roadmaps have giant potholes.
Yeah.
When you look at all those roadmaps,
gonna-
there is not a smooth
Let's-
transition.
Let's say things stay as they are right now, which looks like it's a little better, we're gonna see probably over the next 3 months, like, oh, this is why we don't have this product.
And
in
here's
this
and here's
little
the
window.
and here's the rebound of it all. Like, you're going to read in the news that the deal X was made between these two countries, but the company is still going to say we have to increase prices because of tariffs.
Yeah.
Because the tariffs that we're talking about were the ones that were in place 6 months ago when the product actually was printed and came across the ocean.
Yeah, there's still fallout. Basically.
And then are they going to lower the prices? Probably not. But that's that's
Well,
the company being the company.
I can tell you from as a business owner that I've already received emails from companies that had said that there was going to be price increases. I have now come back and said, oh, well, now it's not going to be as bad, and we are already lowering the prices.
So they adjusted.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Not all of them. I don't want to divulge because I don't know if I'm allowed to or not, but 2 of the companies that have previously said that there was going to be massive increases have come back immediately and already said that they are lowering those increases.
I mean, we also know from we'll use GW as an example because as customers, we always know that there are incremental price hikes over time as inflation and just how the world goes. So and that's never stagnant. I always feel like there is a general incline in it's never like they really go back down. So we never really feel it on their end. So it's hard to say, but like you said, I think those roadmaps are just shattered in the sense of
like you said, we're gonna hit potholes.
We're gonna hit potholes, and we're not gonna really we're not gonna see it until we're September.
Yeah.
PAX Unplugged comes around. It's gonna be that landscape's gonna be crazy.
I think any of the watchers or any of the people in the store that are going to Gen Con are going to be the ones that see it. They're going to be the first ones to see it because Gen Con is going to be the most effective because some of the stuff that is sold at Gen Con literally gets off the plane and delivered straight there.
Yeah.
This is the very first box that's being opened by anybody and it's at Gen Con. That's going to be delayed.
Yeah, they're going to smoke screen it where booths are going to be open, but they're going to have the products from last year. And there's going to be that oh, what's happening? You're going to go over and inquire at a booth and oh, well, we're waiting for, the normalization to return.
And then what about that mom and pop company that this is the first game we're taking to Gen Con and we're going to launch our business off it? Now we don't have it. We bought the booth and now we don't have it, but we're here.
Yeah, that's that.
And they'll have probably printouts and maybe a demo that they had.
Yeah, the playtest demo or something.
Demo, TBD when you actually get the product.
I hope I'm wrong. I hope everything goes well. But I mean, that's when I really feel as if we're gonna feel the repercussions of it.
There was a little scare on Gen Con site because all the FFG events disappeared for a day or 2, and they were did they just pull only? And this was pre-tariff decisions, whatever. Apparently, it was just a glitch, and they were just reloading them.
That would be a true sign if you had
somebody
some
pulled
big
out.
company
pull out
and be we're not spending. We're just gonna because we have nothing to show, and that would be a direct correlation to you'd think we got nothing to show. There's nothing, anything we've promised is not going to be even remotely close. So and you know what? There's the secret things that how many new products are in the works that are now getting affected that we're not even going to know about. You know what I mean? And that now they're waylaid to you're gonna have holes of I'm looking at you, space Star Wars games, things that could be in the works now, you're 2, 3, 4, I might be 60 when I get that new game as opposed to when I might have been 55, so.
Give it a 5-year relapse issue, and then they'll relaunch a new Star Wars game.
No, and I would think that was when, look at the old world. It took how long for people to forget and their hatred and anger. And now you're eating from the same plate again and people are happy about it.
Would you be willing, so the reference is, for those that don't know, Sal's an old X-Wing player that's
always
a little heartbroken that one of his favorite games is now defunct. Would you be willing to play a X-Wing-like game, if it had modeling and painting involved?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's hard because
I think that's probably the next step.
It would be the next step. The problem I'm going to find is that the mechanic of X-Wing was so sound. I always say this. That mechanic was so thematic for what you were doing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see how they replaced that without making it convoluted. It was very simple of moving ships in space, which in reality, it's not physical. It's not physics in how ships move in space. You didn't go, pss, 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 like that. It was Star Wars versions of flying basically airplanes in space, how it moves. But I always find like I know they're going to create a game and it's just going to be a whole new system. I'm sure someone very smart can, but like that's for me. That's the first game where the whole core system of the game wasn't broken. They just couldn't keep up with how they made the game. But the game itself was probably one of the most soundest games as a foundation of a game. So, but yes, if it was a modeling version, no problem. I would have paid. Honestly, I would have paid $60 for painted ships. I mean, plain and simple, because they just wasn't. They didn't come out that often. You know what I mean? It's not like every week. But regardless.
I just think they could bring the cost down if
Yes,
they're not painted.
absolutely. But I find
and
that like
use extruded plastic would be cheaper
even for
so on and so
capital
forth.
ships or a larger game that had always said like ground combat. You could have made X-wing with AT-ATs and ATSTs on same scale and fight air battles with ground combats and kind of like command and conquer kind of. But I digress. The idea though that there's stuff being worked on in any of these markets in any of those games that like they're now so on pause because this has put them into the back burner. We're not even thinking about working on these games.
Yeah.
So even a company like FFG, like and even AMG, they're small studios. So like there's not, unless a new studio pops up, like there's no one else really working on those kind of like, what are the studio, unless there's studios we don't know about that are working on other different properties for, could be Marvel games, could be any games, but like now they're really in stasis. So
the other thing that we have to think about, and I don't have that information on the top of my head right now, is the licensing issues. Who currently has license and how long is the license for? Obviously, FFG had it, and then they gave it to AMG. Now it's still, does Asmodee own that, or is that FFG that owns the licensing? Or does AMG own the, like who gets that contract that owns that licensing? And then is it up? Is it up anytime soon? Is it because that would determine, because case in point, I don't know if you remember Netrunner. Okay.
Yeah. No, it lapsed and someone else bought it.
Lapsed. I mean, what, 3 times? Or 4 even? Because there's like
it's been 3 or 4 times.
There's another company now that kind of does it. It's like a smallish, just kind of just doing like updates to it.
Yeah. It's interesting too. You're buying like wasn't X-Wing's mechanic Wings at War?
Yeah, it's the flight path system, and it was originally Wings of War, which was World War I biplane combat.
Then there was World War II version of it, and then kind of like that, someone's like, "Oh, this makes sense to me."
Star Trek have it first?
And then Star Trek took it after
X-Wing.
Yeah,
and then made every ship possible.
Yeah,
well,
and then D&D had it with the dragons, and it was the same system.
But that was still WizKids. WizKids was the Star Trek and the D&D one.
Yes,
they produced both.
They must have also bought the mechanic. Must have been a purchasable kind of IP because WizKids and FFG had it at separate times, and it's fundamentally the same system with minor tweaks on like the outline of the rules, but how you move the base is
that's the rule set. What I'm worried about right now is like who's got the licensing for Star Wars.
They all have them because they're all making Star Wars stuff, but the problem is who has the miniatures and what does that mean? Because AMG obviously has the licensing for physical miniatures, being Legion and Shatterpoint, but like, does ships and those things become a different, entity is itself? Probably not. But like, once again, those are all moved around because they were selling off the company, and like Asmodee was getting bought by someone else. Once again, bring up Fab, it was being positioned to look lucrative in like, look at this department does this. And oh, look, they make board games and card games. So like, like I said, I'm just scared that like what got marginalized by the big T word is like something you'll never really know. And then,
you can't miss or regret what you didn't know.
Well, until it leaks, and then you get angry.
Okay, now I don't want to talk about this anymore.
Because
moving on.
Was this LSS purchased by?
But like, what was his name? Dan Levy was the gentleman that Toph played from FFG. Was one of the creators of X-Wing, right? His name was Dan, I believe so. He was on a podcast on Gold Squadron podcast. He was talking about all the things that they were planning to do with X-Wing before it got moved to AMG, like incorporating epic ships into the main game.
Yeah, which we were hoping that they would do.
And they were going to make it into competitive play too. Like they were working on rules to have it when, hey, what game are we going to play? We're going to play a regular battle. We're going to play incorporated epic ships. And like, he talked about a lot of things that they wanted to do and were planning on doing. And then it never came to fruition. So that even hurts even more. It's kind of like,
well, it's like the animals set in Destiny, right? Like we were gonna get to play a green Rancor.
Yeah, and those are made somewhere. Those are sitting somewhere because they were gonna give those sets out. If anyone that
they're sitting somewhere,
I mean, I've heard
they're locked right next to the Ark of the Covenant.
That's exactly when you said that. That's exactly the vision I had.
I would that old guy pushing that car with that
warehouse shot. I still see that. That's exactly what I saw.
But yeah, hopefully, like stabilization. Hopefully, just in getting back to the original thing, we're for gaming purposes, we're not going to really know stabilization in this kind of, turbulent gaming times
We'll see.
until
So
I think middle of the year.
It looks like
towards the end of the
somebody
year.
threw a life preserver to all the companies that were actively doing business. Like the newer companies, I don't know if that's going to change. Like anybody that wanted to start a board game company right now, I still wouldn't do it because it's still too fluid, the situation. But like, case in point, GameGenic, everything comes from China.
Yeah.
All those deck boxes, all the card
Yeah, I
sleeves,
mean,
the binders, all that
If you're
stuff.
thinking about making a Kickstarter, you're just not doing it.
No,
Once
right
again,
now, you're
or
still not
you're
doing
shelving.
I think if you zoom out and look at this, like look at the year from July 2025 to July 2026, I bet you have a lot more cardboard token games as
Yep.
opposed to plastic miniatures games.
Probably.
Like if I was designing a board game that was going to have 3D models that I had to print in plastic, scrap that idea. We're going to put artwork on a piece of cardboard. We're going to lower our costs and we're going to ship it across the tariff and get it to market.
Yeah,
and it's going to be
hope it takes
cardboard standees as opposed to models.
And-
But at least my game was out there.
And then if you get through it and it's a popular game and it does well, once all this
Ooh, there's a 5th anniversary special edition
Ooh.
with all the models
or,
I had
or
sculpted.
upgrade kits.
Yeah,
you know,
upgrade kits. Like Ticket to the Ride. Didn't they have like upgrade kits
Yeah.
for your like post and how old that game is? I mean, so well, hopefully we get through this all.
We will. We always will. Because we
Never stop gaming.
will know, man.
Oh
You
yeah.
stole my line.
We'll do it
This is
together.
terrible. We'll do it. You want to do it in stereo?
That yeah, I don't know. Yeah, sure.
1, 2, 3.
Never stop gaming.
Oh wow,
That was pretty
that
bad.
was actually pretty good. I thought it was good.
Moving on.
Yep. Cut that one out.
Moving. Thanks for joining us. Be safe. We'll see you next time.